Americans are in grave danger. Our military leaders, our foreign diplomacy, our relationships with other countries, tariffs. I mean, we are really being set up to be attacked.
Why we are so different from a national perspective.
Education and our media is quick to put out little fires here and there. And so we fact check on the fly, and your media doesn't do that.
Is there any sense of jealousy or envy that they got it and we couldn't get it?
This is a global movement, and even in Canada, you guys have to be on high alert. You guys have some benefits that we don't have.
Who's the current president of the United States?
I hope there's a shadow government happening. I don't know, because we got a dictator. We don't got a president. One of the things that really stood out to me this week that was really important was when the mayor of Newark was arrested.
There's one thing that we have that Nazi Germany didn't have.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the CAN AMIGOS show, round 3. Here I am happily joined with my 3 friends, Jarv, Tom, Justly. And if you're wondering who this charming lady is on the bottom, that is Michelle, Miss Kahoot, who's agreed to join the panel today. She brings a lot. I think her energy and the energy of everybody else is going to be a great show. Everybody say hello.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome. So where do we begin? Because, we talk in about every 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, every 2 weeks when we talk, it's like the world has effing changed again.
Yep.
It only takes 24 hours for things to go downhill.
24? Who are you trying to kid? In Canada, yes. In Canada, we can look at the news once a day and find
Exactly.
out, oh, he's got a new cabinet. We can see who they are and read all about it. And tomorrow we can find out what else is going on.
So let's
in the US, you go, I went outside for an hour.
With the States, you guys are just a never-ending news cycle. It just never ends.
24/7. 24/7.
It's probably too early, but did you guys get a chance to watch my show today on the communication breakdown syndrome?
Not yet.
Do watch that show, because in that show, we talk about the flooding of communication to people and what it's doing to us and how we can react to it and so on and so forth. It's just mind-boggling.
I want to make a comment on that. Can I make a comment?
Of course you can. Yes, sir.
Okay, because
What you're here for.
Yeah.
So on Blue Sky, I noticed that I have themes almost every day, and they just evolve. And yesterday's theme was propaganda.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is something I think is really important for us to actually label, because every single word, idea, theory, analysis, data point that comes out of the regime is propaganda. Right. But it's being normalized through headlines and, the press secretary. And so I just think it's really important for us to understand that these aren't facts, right? This isn't reality. And that what's being communicated to us as Americans by I call it a regime, is all propaganda. And so we have to call it out and we have to tune it out. It's
like, to further that point, he floods the zone with so much bullshit that it's absolutely, we're numb. Like up here, I could say for me that we're numb to, like, it's just a cacophony of bullshit, like flying on an hourly basis every time he opens his mouth.
Every time.
Every time.
But they have quoted Goebbels a few times down there, so.
Yeah.
But Tom,
They have.
Can you pinpoint, Tom, why we are so different from a national perspective? Because to me, and please tell me if I'm wrong, to me, the Canadians don't seem to buy into bullshit. I'm not talking American bullshit. I'm talking Canadian bullshit. So why is it that one population of people in Canada don't eat, breathe shit, this propaganda, but then come down south and all of a sudden it's an epidemic?
Our media, education and our media.
Education.
Yeah, that too. But our media is quick to put out little fires here and there. After Trump speaks, the media will break it down and go, of course, we know that number is ridiculous. There aren't even 200 countries, And so we fact check on the fly, and your media doesn't do that.
Tom, is it media education?
Well, the media right now is just starting to finally sort of balance things out, because just yesterday they were actually calling out some of his bullshit. So the CBC was surprisingly on it. But I think it's more of an education issue, because the American education system has been broken for decades,
Yes.
and it's been getting worse. You can just see it as it deteriorates.
Right.
Yeah.
And Canada's one of the more highly educated countries in the world.
Right. Right.
So I'm just thinking, and you notice because more democratic, more social people are more highly educated than conservative.
Lee, where's your head on this?
Yeah, we are gotten to the point now where, like, it's head-shakingly ridiculous. Like, even not the mainstream media, but media in general are pointing out that Carolyn is a bullshitter. She lies every time she gets up there. But we're looking at unbelievable things going on with your country and your president, and nobody's doing anything. Nobody is doing anything about it. Like, I'm wondering now, we touched on the plane.
Right.
We know he's not going to get that plane, okay? Like, something is going to stop that. But what is it hiding? It's hiding the fact that he's, like, buddying up to people who are involved in 911. He's, or 9/11, not 911.
Yeah.
And he's doing these side channel investments with these countries on the taxpayers' dime, going over there. And it's like, all of a sudden, Syria, no tariffs on Syria. Why? Because he's gotten another bribe. Well, if we know that, I know that, this little Canadian sitting up in Nova Scotia knows that. Why? Why is he getting away with it? Is it SCOTUS?
Well, finally, Ted Cruz. I mean, here we go. I'm on this thing.
He's an Albertan. He was born in Alberta. Enough said.
Yeah.
Was he? No, but Ted Cruz was actually coming down on him about the jet and going, "Hey, look, this is wrong. You shouldn't get you can't take gifts." And then they'd have to sweep the plane, like
for billions. It's going to take billions of dollars and years to refit that palace to make it. But of course, it's going
to the library.
To his library.
Michelle,
the man reads at a grade 3 level. Probably hasn't touched anything but Mein Kampf in like 200 years. And he's getting a presidential. Now that one I'm going to visit.
Michelle, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You are now hearing from Canadians, completely different country, one of our best neighbors. How does this make you feel?
It makes me feel wonderful. The Canadians on Blue Sky have been some of the most empathic and supportive. One of the things that is difficult for me is when people believe that the Americans chose this.
Right.
We did not choose this. This is actually minority rule.
Right.
Our elections have not been free and fair for a very long time. We deal with gerrymandering, voter suppression, the voting rights laws were demolished. Citizens United allows for unlimited campaign contributions. The Americans actually are oppressed. We actually are brainwashed. And I have empathy for us because this has been happening from the beginning of our country. We have decided what the narrative is going to be. Well, the powers have decided what the narrative is going to be, and the people kind of passively accept it. It's just that now we actually have an authoritarian dictator. And so some people are waking up. The majority are still asleep because we have been distracted by sports and materialism. And I don't blame us for that. But because of that, most people are saying, this guy's crazy. Don't even listen. But actually, because he has loyalists, he can do, obviously, the things that he wants. And we've been seeing it. So for me, the Canadians have been in solidarity. And I am so grateful, even to the fact that a couple of them have said to me, if you have someone that needs a space to come because they're being targeted, I have a house. I have literally had people offer mutual aid from Canada. Thank you, all Canadians.
But
really,
that was a fantastic answer. But
I literally did that.
Yeah,
thank you.
I've said like, hey,
if you
trust stop, I don't have a lot of room, but
But is there any sense? Because first of all, to the Canadians in the room, I owe you a debt of gratitude for one, doing the show, and two, my follower population has exploded with Canadians. And it's all because of Lee. It's all because
of Lee.
So thank you for
that.
Well,
look, Marv, Craig's
But is there any sense of jealousy or envy that you know, they got it and we couldn't get it? Because I feel that way. I almost feel embarrassed when I talk to Canadians now.
I don't think so, because I think, and the Canadians will agree, this is a global movement. And even in Canada, you guys have to be on high alert. You guys have
Oh.
some benefits that we don't have. Like, you don't have unlimited campaign contributions. You don't have corporations. They have more power than the people. The corporations do, because of the money that they can contribute. So I don't feel envious. I just feel grateful because we're so close. You guys can maybe help us. But I think you guys are vulnerable like all the countries are right now.
Elections Canada goes out and they'll go to hospitals and care homes to get people to vote.
Amazing.
We encourage everybody to come in and have their say.
Yeah, we don't. We don't.
We have an election right now. We have an election right now.
Talk some people. You probably know this if you know me. I don't believe he won. I don't for a second.
Me neither. Will. I'm with you, Lee.
I know.
Yeah. No, I don't think he did either.
There's no way he won this. And now they're looking closer at the swing states and how close it was and blah, blah. No, he didn't win because he didn't.
They've obviously already admitted that they rigged the election. They did it on camera more than once.
He's so stupid. He says it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you for giving me Pennsylvania. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You know,
We have an election seat up here right now that is being
one vote
by one vote, and it went to a judicial recount, and it swung to a Liberal from the Bloc Québécois. And it, like, when you say every vote counts, so it came down to one vote,
literally,
and then it turned out that someone's special ballot didn't get counted. It got returned with a wrong address. So now
which was Elections Canada's fault.
And now it's got to go to they either have to wipe the slate and have a redo election, a redo. Yeah. Got to do a whole redo, either that or they'll lose. The Bloc Québécois will lose the idea. It's only been done once before. They'll lose it, but they're asking if I'll button this up quickly here. The reporters were asking if they thought it was rigged, and going down the rabbit hole on it. And the Yves Francois Blanchet said, no, we're not going down there.
Right.
But we have PP, okay? He lost, and he brought somebody in that is not favorable.
Andrew Scheer. Oh.
Yeah, and that to me is starting to smell a little bit American. Okay, he lost his seat. He's not, and he's still living as if he didn't lose. That has got to be, now he's kicked some. He paid. I mean,
it's a puppet.
He got somebody to step down, and he's going to be elected in Alberta. It just smells.
It's the same kinds of moves. It's very
MAGA. And we call him Maple MAGA. Like, his supporters are Maple MAGA. And, we don't need that here. He lost, period. Gone. Why?
Hey, is Bill still here?
I'm still here.
It's your fault. You said you weren't going to ask any questions.
Yeah, but this is exactly what I wanted to do, and it's working out exactly as planned. Switching gears, any show of hands, who was in the military here? Anybody? Nobody?
No.
Okay. Tom, I'm going to pick on you again because I love your brain, Tom. If you saw my show this morning, they announced a massive Qatar, our darling new friends and allies, Qatar, announced a massive $1 billion investment in U.S. air bases on top of the $400 million plane. What the F is that all about? Why?
Oh, and don't forget the bribes that he's building something.
Yeah, but why would a terrorist country invest multi-billion dollars in U.S. air bases? I could see investing multi-billions of dollars in big plots of land to build up and so on and so forth. That I get. That I totally get, right? Why U.S. air bases? Tom's theories.
Let alone the fact that it's a Hamas stronghold. Yes. He's supposed to be on Israel's side. So somebody smoking crack. It doesn't make any sense.
Did you guys
It
hear
makes
about this?
zero fucking sense whatsoever.
Did you guys hear about this too this week? Because I went to bed one night earlier this week, and it was all over TikTok that Trump was going to declare Palestine its own state in complete and utter defiance of Bibi.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
Bibi got all bent out of shape because he was like, okay, well, forget the United States. I don't need their military. I don't need this, that, and the other thing. But it hasn't happened yet. Does anybody have any thoughts about that? Was that a crock or what?
I never saw that.
Happen. Oh,
Michelle, did you hear
mean,
that?
what
It's
does it
all
say?
distraction.
I didn't hear
Because
that.
I-
And I think, Bill, you'll probably always be somewhat more informed in some ways because I tune out for
Yeah,
real.
right.
Because everything that is being said is so unreliable about why
Right.
and to try to guess. The only theories I can kind of come up with would be all the same, which is that the orange man, he is loyal to money.
Right.
First and foremost, he doesn't care where it comes from. He wants to enrich himself. He really is a sociopath. He doesn't really have allegiances or alliances unless he's going to get something from you. So for whatever reason, it's because he's getting something. Now, if it's U.S. air bases, obviously, these are reckless decisions that put us as sitting ducks. Like Americans are in grave danger. Our military leaders, our foreign diplomacy, our relationships with other countries, tariffs. I mean, we are really being set up to be attacked or be internal domestic terrorism, internet. I mean, really, our bases, like
Yeah.
we are sitting ducks. So
Right.
the only theories I have is that whatever's being promised is going to enrich him
Yeah,
and
that's
his
what I think.
family, and that's it.
Golf
You have
courses.
a weekend Fox News host as your DOD
Oh, please.
secretary.
Please.
Well,
stop.
and then he gets that. What's her name? Janine
Pirro.
Janine
Yeah.
Pirro. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's
That's the
a-
wine.
What is a prerequisite that you have to be a drunk Fox
Yes.
News host?
Yes, it is. It's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
the new
there.
thing.
Okay. Well, as long as I know. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I can stop hiding this.
Yeah.
I'm honestly
when,
surprised you haven't been attacked yet.
Well, I'm with you, Tom. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Michelle. You were saying something?
When the whole thing came out with the conversation on Signal where the journalist was like invited into the conversation and everybody said, oh,
He's gone.
Hexac is gonna, I knew for a fact that he's not going anywhere because he's
No.
loyal. They don't care about competence. They don't care about good judgment. They don't care about laws. They care about loyalty. So I was right. He hasn't gone anywhere.
No,
I
he's not
don't
going
expect
anywhere.
any loyalists to go anywhere because he doesn't
No.
care about competence, just
No.
loyalty.
But it's but it's a bigger thing than that. And this is what absolutely incenses me. He doesn't care about anything. Look at the new Surgeon General he wants to put in. No medical degree. When asked about that, he says, well, Bobby picked her, so she must be a good person, and he gave the classic excuses. Yeah, she's very good. He doesn't care. He's the goddamn president of the United States. He has to care.
Well, and he's also the guy that they under a direct question about the Constitution, he said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And I mean, he put his hand.
And so did Kristi Noem, and so did Kash Patel.
Right.
That's part
And
of
yeah,
that's part of the like I hate to be right, but the boys can tell you I come up with these things and boom, it happens. But that's part of it. That's the rehearsed thing.
yes, that's
Instead of answering
propaganda.
straight out,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's not-
I don't know. I don't know. They're all
It's a
saying
distraction. It's a
Absolutely.
media distraction for whatever's going on behind the curtain.
Yeah.
He wants
Look
to
over
show
here.
a bunch of bullshit out here because what's going on over here, he doesn't.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
And martial law. Remember, boys, when
Yeah. Oh no.
Jarv Tom,
Oh, no.
the-
Be
oh, no.
wrong. Be wrong, Lee. Be
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, no,
And-
and
It's coming.
as we're
Called
marching,
it from the beginning too, Lee. Me too. Been saying
they
it.
told me.
Been
Oh,
saying
no.
it.
these guys.
They're trying to get
Yeah.
habeas corpus gone. As soon as that's gone, it's martial law.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
They've
that-
already been, they have set the groundwork. They've been increasing their propaganda about habeas corpus. It's coming. It is unavoidable. This orange man has been salivating to have martial law, to use military on us, to have a military parade. He has been talking about these things for a very long time. They will happen.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Trick question of the day. Anybody can answer this, but we'll start with Michelle. Michelle, who's the current president of the United States?
Oh, that is so hilarious.
It's-
Oh my God, what a great
know what
fucking
she's gonna say.
question.
I like
What
that
a
question.
great fucking question.
That's
Who-
great.
who is it, Michelle?
I hope there's a shadow government happening. I don't know, because we got a dictator. We don't got a president.
Is it Stephen Miller?
Oh, in terms of who's running stuff?
Yeah,
Oh, we have a beautiful combination. Putin's in there. We got Russell Vought in there. We got Miller in there.
That's
we
what I'm
got,
saying. That's why I asked the question. Who's the president of the United States?
Oh, we got so many.
Because
Project 25.
it's not Trump. Trump is not the president of the United States. I hate to break it
No,
to
it's
you all.
Project
He's not making any
25.
of these
No,
decisions.
no.
It's
No.
all Vought's plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all-
Watt's in there.
Right.
Peter
It's-
Thiel's in there. Elon Musk is in there. Right? Like, we see the players. He's the puppet.
Right.
Yeah.
And when he is no longer around, there will be a puppet rising into his place. This
let
does
me-
not end with the Orange Man.
It does not. It
This
does
is what I
not
was
actually
saying
orange
though
man.
before.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying though before, is that Christian nationalists started this stuff in the 50s and 60s, and
Right.
they were just looking for the stooge.
Yeah.
Antifa showed up, bam, they got an idiot, and away they went.
Oh, Tom, it's so grounding to hear you say that.
At what point?
You're going to enjoy us.
But at what point, if at all, does this go south? How does it go south, Jarv?
Sure, boy, like the Democrats have to start punching back. And the only way,
No. Hang on a second. I don't mean it from a Democrat fighting perspective. How does this go south from a Trump perspective, and when?
how does he start to fail?
Yeah, how does he start to fail? When does he run out of toes to shoot?
I guess it's going to have to dwindle down with the rest of the people that are involved,
Right.
all trying to fight for who is going to be the guy. All his other people, the backbiting is going to be who is trying to control him is going to get unraveled,
Right. That's what I think.
Great point.
Tom, what do you
Great
think?
point.
Tom, what do you think? Do you see it that way?
Yeah, I think everything is already starting to
Unravel.
dwindle in the background, and they're starting to come after each other. So I think it's just going to start getting worse. Probably by the end of the year, you're going to hear a lot more about it.
Yeah, I would think. Miss Lee, what do you think?
I hate to be right. But I think it's gonna,
I love you.
why does everybody laugh when I say that?
Because we love you, that's why.
Because you know I lie. No, I don't lie. That's the thing. I think that, like, now, you can't tell me those DICE guys that none of them have a uniform or ID or anything aren't part of Proud Boys and militias and shit
Of
like
course
that.
they are. Of course they are.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think that's going to be the ignition. People are starting to like say, "Who the fuck is this guy dragging this other family out?" And
Right.
Right. There's a baby scream. I think it's the people rising up against ICE, and then once they take on that, the whole thing is going to explode. It's going to be violence. That's what's going to stop it, because the courts are powerless. They really are. They just go, "No, so what? SCOTUS? Who cares, right?"
The courts do their thing. It's SCOTUS that screws everything up.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's right.
The courts are doing their thing. Then why is Garcia still,
Yeah, right.
like they're doing their
SCOTUS.
thing, but they're not backing up what there's. And I think eventually the people themselves are going to say it. And I think, mark me on this one. With his military parade, I say, like, all it would take is one nutcase to turn the tank. Poof,
Yeah,
gone.
exactly.
Take care of it all. But I think that's going to be the catalyst. I think that's going to be the people are finally the millions of people that are carrying around signs and everything. There's a lot of people who are like I wouldn't be the first few times I'd be carrying my sign and doing all that. But the anger would start to, even for an old lady like me, the anger would be boiling by now.
Stop
And
saying
seeing him,
stop saying that. You're 42. Calm down.
yeah.
Say
My kid
wise.
is 49.
Wisely.
He's wise. Michelle, are you sensing that with your followers? In case you didn't see my show with Brad Berkowitz this week, I'm sensing that, one of the ways that we get out of this is definitely a uprising from the bottom, the grassroots from the bottom, and the top branch coming down. And we meet here, and stuck in the middle is going to be them. Are you sensing that, Michelle? Are we at a point where we're starting to see that, some hints of it, some glimmers of it? What do you think?
I think there's glimmers. One of the things that really stood out to me this week that was really important was when the mayor of Newark was arrested.
Yep.
And I wrote him a message and I said, you have a special place now in history
Yeah.
and in my heart. The leaders of democracy, whoever they may be now, need to put their bodies on the line.
Yes.
They need to get arrested. They need
Yes.
to block shit. They need to
Yes.
set up a tent city. They need to camp out. They need to be activists. It cannot just be on our bodies. If they lead, people will follow. But without them, it will take so long for the populace to organize.
Yeah.
We have to have visible leaders who have wealth. We have to have visible leaders who can inspire. I don't know who they're going to be, but if we just do it all ourselves, like it'll happen, but it will take so much longer.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time knowing. I personally think, you guys, I think this regime is going to be around maybe a decade or longer.
Wow.
Okay, that's how
The
I
movement
feel.
definitely will be.
And I
Right.
said, if I'm wrong, I don't mind. I will say I was totally wrong. Oh my God, silly me. But I think because I studied the Third Reich, I've studied Nazi Germany, like they have grasped the mechanisms of our government. They have them. They have them at the federal level and the state level. The Supreme Court can't implement the law. The Department of Justice has to. They got the Department of Justice. They have Congress.
Pam
So-
Bondi, she just basically overrules and does the exact opposite of everything that is right.
Scam. Her name is Scam Blondie.
Yeah,
right.
Bondi. And White House
She does
Barbie.
not-
Thing though, there's one thing that we have that Nazi Germany didn't have, and that's the Nazis.
Okay.
We have a lesson.
Right.
So we can keep
Great
this
point.
from going on a decade or more.
Great point.
And you guys down there are already showing up with the 50-51.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
The thing is, he's not seeing any of this because none of it's going to happen around Mar-a-Lago.
Right.
That's where it needs to be
Yeah.
focused.
Tom brings this up.
Don't
every
let
show.
him in or out.
Yeah, Tom brings this up every show. We should be doing this at SCOTUS. We should be doing this at Mar-a-Lago. We should be doing it all. So, all right.
Well,
Michelle.
he's sheltered. They keep him from knowing anything that's
Of
going.
course they do. Of course
They just go,
have
good boy, get out
Of course they
there,
have
wake
to.
up, wake
Yeah.
up. You know.
But the mainstream media doesn't even
Oh no.
cover.
They had a great thing today with they had a plane with a great big sign behind a Katara logo or something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
I thought
Beautiful activism. Beautiful
Yeah.
activism there.
I
That's what
think
we
so.
need.
I think at this point, Michelle, you're right. Like, yes, like there's millions of people, but people are starting to be, oh yeah, another one this week and another one this week and another. Like eventually it's going to, people are, there's only so many times you can sit outside of a Tesla place and go like, you know,
Exactly.
get rid of
yeah.
it. But I think people need to realize that with, you know, he was the mayor of the city, right? He was
Yeah.
doing his job.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. The mayor of Newark.
Yeah, exactly right.
Now, if
They
enough
have
of
the
them,
right to oversee that stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's
What their
right.
job is.
Right.
So he wasn't
people are
doing
starting to
anything.
But they
demand,
don't, you guys,
that
they don't
ice-
believe in the Constitution though.
no,
They
they're
believe
starting
that
to talk about ice,
actually,
and that's
they
big.
they believe that God is commanding them. This is real. This is real. The Christian
Very
nationalists believe. And
Yeah.
so, and we have 3 freak SCOTUS justices who were installed specifically for this. Right. So like they don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe they have to follow it. And like if they have all the mechanisms of government and the military, I don't know. I think it's going to take some time and a huge revolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, hang on for a second
That's
because
Yes.
I need you to take a deep breath because we're going to have some fun now.
Okay.
Because whenever I get together with the CAN AMIGOS, the show goes, it's like the fastest 45 minutes of my life.
I know. It's so
Because the
fun.
content is so good and it just zooms right by. So what I like to do is play a little game with them called Flip the Script.
Okay. I like this
So we're
idea.
gonna play Flip the Script. So now the Canadians get to interview us.
Awesome.
So be ready. Who's gonna start it off? Who's got a first
Awesome.
question for the Americans?
Lee, you go
He does.
first.
I know he does.
I don't have one yet. Just give me a second.
Come on, Lee, shoot.
Oh, Boom. Oh no. That's a tough one. I mean, there's so many things, right? Like, aside from the blatant crap,
Obvious, right?
like what is going on behind the scenes? Like, I'm hearing Congress is going to stop him from getting a plane, but are they? Congress is pushing forth this bill, this big, beautiful bill, and then somebody else is saying he won't sign it the way it is. And is it being pushed? Is it being like, is it really going to happen, or is this just more propaganda, more bullshit, more forcing it down our throats before it is actually hammered out? Is it really happening? Does it have to go to the Senate? Does it have to be voted on?
Michelle, you want to handle that one?
Oh gosh. Well, what's really happening is that because of our not free and fair election, the pubes, aka the former Republicans, they have all branches of government. And if they want to, yeah, I call them the pubes. And if they want to change laws, they absolutely can. They could have changed all these laws already, but instead he's been ruling by executive order. I don't think Congress is going to do too much at all. I think Chuck Schumer is useless. I think Hakeem Jeffries is useless. I think that the people we've seen stand up for the people of, the people who stood up are actually at the state level, governors, mayors, and state reps. Now, AOC and Bernie, they're on a tour. They could have the whole Democratic Party backing them, but they don't. Cory Booker, he had a long speech, okay, but it did nothing for us. It did a lot for him, right? So, like, I don't think that I think everything this orange maniac wants, he's going to get it. I think there will be very little guardrails or ways for things not to happen. And I don't think Congress is going to save us. And that's why I'm saying we cannot wait for an election. We, the people, have to unite in masses too big for them to control through a general strike or through some huge mass movement of protest, resistance. I hope it doesn't go to violence, but it seems like he wants it. But to me, that's what my job is right now, is to try to connect with people and unite people who've been divided for centuries between race, gender, religion, location, geography. We have been divided by these oligarchs, by these corporations, by these oppressors, by these colonizers. And so we, the people, we have to save us.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What is that going to do with the bill? Like, from what I'm reading and what I'm hearing, like, he's cutting Medicaid. Like, people
are gonna do it. It will happen. Yes, don't cut it. Yes, he'll get it. He'll get it.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Like, I depend on, like, as a senior in Canada, yes, I admit it. I've got 1,001 health problems. I'm on medication. I pay 30%. Like, what my pills would cost me a couple $100 a month, I pay 30% of that, right? And I get a cortisone shot in my knee. I have to get a chest scan. I just go. Like, and I have a tendency to wound myself, to cut off the end of my finger. Well, I just go to the hospital. They stitch it up. I go home. I get medication. I'm fine. Like, we take it for granted in Canada that we have that safety net.
We don't.
Imagine.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
No,
1960s.
you really don't.
We figured that out in the 60s. But
yep, exactly. And it's been downhill since here, because FDR, he brought in a lot of these policies, right? To and it continued a little later, but since the 70s, it's for us.
Yeah.
We've been getting our rights taken away more and more, and now it's just at it's like
untenable.
But Kristi Noem's going to get a new plane, right?
Yeah, of course, because God knows he needs that. Jarv, you were going to make a point. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, it wasn't as much of a question as a point. When does the process for you guys to start, the Democrats, to find a real shoe-in for 2028? When, like, that would be my question. Like, who are you grooming to come up through the ranks? I haven't seen anyone yet.
Bill just green.
Yeah, I just had a migraine. I had a blood vessel pop just now.
Did I just hurt you? Very sorry.
No. There's so many ways to answer this question. I am deeply disappointed and literally shocked that this hasn't been figured out yet. I think, and Michelle, chime in if you want, but I think there was some leaning towards Gavin Newsom at some point in time, and now Gavin has done complete schizophrenia now.
Totally.
What a disappointment that was.
Huge.
I don't
How
recognize
figured
that.
he'd be a good one.
He seemed like a real, the guy. He seemed like the guy, and then
it was very disappointing.
I thought Hakeem Jeffries was going to rise and be the shining star of the Democratic Party right after the election. Massive disappointment.
Huge.
Massive disappointment.
Yes.
I don't know where we're at. I mean, the only person who I'm seeing with some guts now is Pritzker, Jamie Pritzker. I forget what state he's the governor of.
Oh, Pritzker from Illinois.
Yeah. So he's got he's got the chutzpah.
He's also a billionaire, because that's the only thing. That's the only way to get elected these days. You got to be a billionaire.
We got Pete, but
they won't elect him because
he's gay. That's right.
See,
He's gay, yeah.
Because I'll interject one small thing, and that's the fact that the Canadian contingent all knew that Pritzker was the governor of Illinois. And if you flip the script and were to ask the U.S. People who the premier of,
Ontario,
Saskatchewan,
no idea.
do it. We're a little more tuned in. Sorry, I just had to toss that in.
No. But it's very disturbing that, I'm tired of, and I even caught myself saying this a couple of months ago, I'm tired of the Democrats taking the position, well, we didn't really know to expect this kind of insanity. You knew.
It's inexcusable, because this shit, fucking Project 2025 is on the internet. You could download it for free. So I don't want to hear that shit.
And I understand your hands could be tied because you don't have the House and the Senate.
No, that's not an excuse.
If this Puerto Rican fat bastard over here,
exactly. I mean, not about you, but
no. Could start a podcast.
See how fat you're.
To start a podcast and get the word out to 44,000 people every day.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that there's nothing that you can't do.
That's right.
And this is what I don't understand. This is why I'm struggling.
Well, because it's incomprehensible.
Right.
So imagine, you guys, every Democrat, federal, state level, descending on Washington, every elected Democrat standing shoulder to shoulder on the Capitol building. What do you think that would do? Do you think people would be motivated? Do you think that people would feel like the Democrats were at least looking out for them? They're not choosing to do that.
But this is what I don't
need
understand.
the DNC though to.
But that's what I mean.
To be on board with that, and there's
They're
going on in this,
and then we have to wrap up after this. So I'm going to take the closing comment. Sorry, Lee, but I called for this. I've been calling for this for weeks now. Why is there not a Democratic nightly news update at 5 p.m. in front of the Capitol and in front of the Senate? Pick somebody, Pete G, Peter B, whatever the case may be, saying, here are all the lies that Republicans told today. Here's how we plan to attack it. Yeah. Here's this, that, and the other thing. I've seen skyscrapers in New York go up in the fraction of the time that it takes to arrange a press conference.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
And to think that I'm sitting all the way over here where I live, and I have this idea. A lot of people love the idea, but somebody in DC is sitting there going, "Yeah, I don't know if we can do that. Who do we get?"
No, they know we can do it. They're choosing not to.
But why?
They need to show a plan of how to fix it. They have to show how they're going to fix things, and that will get them back.
Yeah. This is what we pay you for.
Exactly.
So, I'm just going to say, this is complicity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying every Democrat is complicit, but the party is. Right. It's 100% true. Right. And a big reason is because both parties share some of the same funders. So you can't be playing on different teams if you have the same funder. And so a lot of people in America don't get it, that all these rich people, they're all on the same team.
Yeah.
We got a couple progressives in the Democrats, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie, great. Right. But the party itself is old, elite, rich.
Yeah, rich old men.
Okay? Yeah. It's that's what we got.
Michelle,
and people think,
Michelle, I detect you suppressing. Let it out. Don't hold it back.
It's a very
I warned you.
club that they're in, and you got to check your bank account. If your bank account's not big enough, you ain't in the club.
Exactly. That's
All right,
right.
guys, we're going to have to leave that there.
Thank
so very
you.
much. To all the viewers watching today's show, I hope you really enjoyed it. This cast is incredible. The dynamics of this group is phenomenal. We will see you again in the next couple of weeks. We'll be back. Everybody have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, all.